make this a special show and declare it a sponsor-free.
So it's a sponsor-free week.
Commercial-free show.
Commercial-free show. Ooh, I like that.
Okay. But how are we going to get paid?
You get paid? Hi, GenderBlenders. Welcome to week 163. What would you do? That is, how would you react if you found out that somebody that knew you pre-transition was going around letting people who are not aware know about you? For example, reverse correct pronouns. Bring in others who knew you pre to prove it, etc.
That's a tough question.
It is a tough question this week.
Yeah, I think so. Some of it's controversial.
Yeah, it is. Some of it you have to interpret differently.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I wrote a few notes on there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can use my example because where I'm currently working, I started off in my old wrong mode and transitioned.
You had a wrong mode?
Yeah, I did. Ooh. Hey. But, you know, I started, you know, a few years ago. I started about 3 years ago in my transition. And I didn't really have any problem at all at work.
Yeah.
And now everybody now calls me by my right name, by my right, using the correct pronouns. And so
I don't.
I know you don't. You're my sis.
Hey, sis!
But, you know, occasionally, somebody will just inadvertently come out with the wrong pronoun. Just from, you know, without even thinking. Without even thinking at all. Mm-hmm. And, you know what? No big deal. You know, sometimes I'll lean over and say, hey, I'm not one of those, you know. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So that will occasionally happen, but that's, you know, it's inadvertent. It's not meant as anything, and it's just simply a screw up. So, you know, so who cares on, you know, things like that? But, you know, those are the kind of things that you're likely to run across in your transition, especially if you transition at work. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be somebody that, not with any malice or anything else, you're just going to just come out with the wrong pronoun or come out with the wrong name or something like that. But, you know, you have that. But, you know, then there's, I think the hypothesis is somebody outing you. You know, if you're just merrily going along and you're more or less running in stealth mode, you really don't care one way or the other.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's no longer a big deal with you. And somebody says, she used to be a guy. Oh, my goodness.
Are you doing so?
That's exactly right. The answer to that question is, so.
Yeah.
You know, yes, I was in the wrong mode for a while.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't make any sense that that would ever be an issue or a problem. But there's, I believe Jen was talking about this. There are laws that protect you against that type of discrimination, just like there are laws that protect you against an employer firing you because you are transsexual.
That's right.
Because first of all, and we need to get this clear, and we need to reach out and tell everyone. There is a big difference between being a transgendered individual and being a transsexual. And that is that being a transsexual is naturally born that way. It's a precise medical condition from birth. And for an employer to discriminate against a transsexual, that's the same as an employer discriminating against a black or a midget or
a person,
anyone. Principle, there are federal laws against that. You cannot discriminate against a natural naturally born person. And a transsexual is naturally born transsexual. All transsexuals are that at birth.
And so education, so actually education is the key in that sense, because, you know, if you explain to somebody, it says, look, here's what the deal is.
Yes.
Right?
They're how we are born.
It's just the way
some
we
of
are.
us need to be, some of us can be corrected.
Right.
And it just so happens that a transsexual can be corrected. We're not gender changing.
Right.
We are correcting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the world knows it. There's just a lot of people who are uneducated. We have transsexuals who are calling themselves transgender because they are not educated. They didn't educate themselves any further.
Mm-hmm.
They just accepted themselves for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, back to the outing of things, you know, there are people who step up and do that all the time.
Sure.
But if a person was purposefully or maliciously doing it, I can understand Aaron's point in that individual being taken aside.
Person, and everyone may run across someone like that. Who knows? But that person was in trouble in any event, as Aaron pointed out in his video.
He was already on a second, and perhaps last notice, which should be a last notice.
Right.
And didn't give him a second chance at employment.
Right.
And plain and simple,
sometimes
it doesn't sound like this person was very thankful about being given a second chance.
It doesn't.
There wouldn't be a third chance.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that person was thankful about wanting a job. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. I cannot think of for any reason why anyone other than someone whom you really hurt, seeking some kind of vendetta, ever doing that to anyone. I know and I'll just use an example. There's no one on the face of this earth that can come and start outing me and any hopes of hurting me or harming me or inflicting anything upon me or getting me in any trouble in any way, shape, or form, whether I was working with an employer or not, because of the reasons I specified. That's just not an issue, and it's just not going to happen. As far as anyone who previously knew me, everyone who obviously knew me from my past knows about my transition. So there's no one for them there's no way for them to hurt me regarding that issue. And anyone who doesn't know me, I'm not 100% passable. And even when I am, I'm not going to surround myself with people who would be doing that in the first place.
Right.
And that goes beyond common sense. It goes down even below the category of stupidity.
Yeah, you're bringing up another good point as well.
Even the stupid people don't put themselves in that kind of jeopardy.
Well, indeed. So, and one of the things to do is to somewhat be proactive as well. Like I think you mentioned that everyone that knew you before knows that you have transitioned.
Yes.
And the same is true for me.
I know still exists.
Right.
Yeah.
And the same is true for me. As a matter of fact, there was a time during my transition, when I kind of made it a point to everyone that I knew, I told about. So, indeed, doing that.
That's right on the videos. It's not like we're not out.
Right.
It's not like we're not being watched every week.
Right.
We go to the grocery stores. And we got people, we go back to the meat section and back to the deli department. And we have people coming to us going, oh my gosh, you're a celebrity. We've seen you. We've been watching you on YouTube. We've been watching you on GenderBlenders. Oh, can we have your autograph? Oh, is it appropriate for us to ask to get a picture with you? And we're like, oh my gosh. Because we do have people who are watching us.
So
and we get a lot of viewers.
Hi, Tony.
Yeah, so we won't say that it's Tony. It works at Ralph's in Carlsbad.
Right.
Hi, Tony. It works at Ralph's in Carlsbad. But anyway, like I said, there are rules that will protect you, and if that is happening, get it straight. What would we do? What could anyone do? There is no sense in ever getting mad So I wouldn't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you could sue someone for slander, but
Chances are you don't want to carry it that far because it's not ever really going to happen.
No, it's just don't. I mean, I came from I lived in one of the worst areas you could possibly ever live in. I went through the hell before I transitioned. And then when I transitioned, I was, like I said, I came out full, guns loaded. I was 100% female and never looked back. And I have never, in the many years that that's happened to me, I have never looked back and I have never ran into that issue.
Right.
With employers, with friends, with ex-friends, with employees.
Yep.
Or even with relatives that didn't accept me. Because it is me. And I'm proud of me.
Right.
And I'm proud of who I am. You're always going to have people who will accidentally use the wrong pronouns.
Yep.
Whether it's an accident or whether it isn't an accident. It really depends on the person whom you're dealing with. And if that person is truly doing that...
Because no employer wants a bunch of issues.
Yeah, sure.
People like that are going to stir up issues, having nothing whatsoever to do with you.
No, they're troublemakers, and they're out to causing trouble. They shouldn't be working there in the first place, and you shouldn't be giving them a second chance.
Yep.
But if this person wasn't on his second chance... I would say he's not on a second chance anymore, is he?
Right.
In any case. That's another discussion we'll have another time. There's a lot more things that we could discuss here, and some of these things can really bring you down, especially when some of it just doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
For it to be letting anyone be so bothered by it.
Yep.
My name is Stephanie.
I'm Steffi. Until next week. Bye-bye.